Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Doing well. Hope you are as well.
I am. And just as I said that we have an add-on just come through. But I'm still okay.
Good, good. Glad to hear it.
The
The
reset,
essay,
yes, the reset date for the SAP calendar is June the 19th.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Afternoon, courtroom two.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let me go ahead and address everyone that you have there. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. It's right at 2 o'clock. Who do we have first?
Position number 5, Mr. Goodwin.
Let's see, who's representing Mr. Goodwin?
Can you say it again?
I do, Your Honor. I've got him.
Okay, and who's presenting for the state?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. McLean,
afternoon.
Mr. Nixon.
Hi.
Mr. Goodwin, you have been charged in case 25 CR 003172C with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history? Is Mr. Howard on with us yet? I'm told that this is Mr. Goodwin's third arrest. He appears to be on probation in Fulton County for robbery and possession of a pistol by someone under the age of 18 and aggravated assault. He has a 2024 FTA. Yes, Mr. Nixon.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's going to ask for a $2,000 surety for the obstruction. This occurred on June 6, 2025. Officer was dispatched to 3072 Washington Road, apartment K5 in East Point, and upon arrival, officer observed the defendant sitting in front of the stairs of the K building wrapped in a blanket that matched the location and description of the 911 call. Officer asked what was he doing outside of the front of the building and asked him to come speak to the officer. The defendant stood up and proceeded to walk away, saying, "Expletive, no, I'm not talking to you," and started walking in the direction of the apartment K5 in the opposite direction of where the officer was standing. As the officer was trying to give him verbal commands to stop, the defendant ran into the apartment and tried to shut the door. Officer then kicked the door, causing it to open and into the residence. At this time, the officer observed the defendant at the apartment's entryway and pulled out his taser to get the defendant to comply with verbal commands. That's when the defendant ran through the kitchen out of the officer's sight line. The defendant attempted to jump the fence to escape. He was subsequently detained thereafter and became physically combative and tried to flee again. So the officers dry stunned him. The state would like to put on the record that defendant, and I think you mentioned that Your Honor actually the defendant has a reckless conduct for firing a gun that occurred 2 months after he was sentenced as a first offender, the first offender you mentioned, and will be going to felony court tomorrow as possession of firearm by a first offender. State's going to ask for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
McLean?
Your Honor, he is 17 years old. His family's here. He's from here. He went through the 9th grade. He's working on his GED. He helps his parents. Your Honor, if he is eligible for bond, we'll ask for it. If he is not, or because of that FTA that was mentioned, depending on the timing of it and everything like that, then we would ask for a 1,000 surety. Thank you.
Have you had the opportunity to speak with his parents, Mr. McLean?
I did leave a message, the dad's number, and I did reach the mom, but I don't think she's going to be on Zoom.
Okay. For today, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If he'll be on the SAP calendar on June 19th, if you can get in touch with someone and in that regard, his bond can be modified or reconsidered at that time.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Bridgewater?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I have a correction on the reset date because that is officially Juneteenth Day. The reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be June the 24th. So we will
Okay.
not be having court on the 19th.
Okay, the 24th, is that a Tuesday?
That is a Tuesday.
Okay, so that will be my calendar. So I'll see Mr. Goodwin. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're
I'll see
welcome.
Mr. Goodwin back on that Tuesday. All right, good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 3, Ms. Gibson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Gibson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003170G with 2 counts of simple battery and battery. Let's see.
Once
Mr.
again,
Ha-
Your Honor, I have an announcement. Mr. Toussaint would like for you all to get the recommendations or the history, I should say, from the state until he's able to log on.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater. I do have the history. So for Mr. Gibson, it appears that this is his 4th arrest. He has an open case out of Carroll County for possession of a Schedule I controlled substance and 2010 probation violation. Level 2 is recommended for Ms. Gibson. Yes, Mr. Nixon.
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred on May 5th, 2025. An officer responded to a 911 call located at the 3500 Peachtree Road Northeast. That's the Phipps Plaza Nordstrom. And upon arrival, he was met by the victim, who was identified as Yasmin Williams. And Ms. Williams stated she was assaulted by a coworker at the location. And the coworker was identified as the defendant. Now, Ms. Gibson was no longer at the scene once the officer arrived. And Ms. Williams stated that she and Ms. Gibson were having a verbal discussion at work, and Ms. Williams stated at some point during the discussion it got heated, and Ms. Gibson got physical with her. Ms. Williams stated Ms. Gibson ran towards her, grabbed her by her hair, and started hitting her. Ms. Williams stated that Ms. Gibson hit her in the forehead and the back of her head, and Ms. Williams also stated Ms. Gibson also probably tossed some clothing items on her during the incident. Now, Ms. Williams stated that she sustained a bruise on her forehead and she could feel a knot on the back of her head. While on the scene, officer did observe visible injuries on Ms. Williams. Now, Ms. Williams stated she was physically attacked by one of her employees following a disagreement. The officers observed on video the defendant initiating the physical altercation inside the store. Ms. Gibson can be seen aggressively moving toward Ms. Williams, pulling her hair, pushing her, and knocking over clothing racks. I did identify, I believe, a 2007 theft by shoplifting. That was a first offender. The state is going to ask for $1,000 surety for the simple battery, $1,000 surety for the battery, and another $1,000 surety for the simple battery. The state would like to request to stay away from all Nordstrom stores as well as Phipps Plaza. No further contact with the victim, Yasmin Williams, and when it's proper, we'd ask the court to sign for Ms. Williams. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, and anger awareness.
If Ms. Williams is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Who's representing Ms. Gibson?
Your Honor.
Afternoon, Ms. Tucker.
Good afternoon. Ms. Gibson is 41 years of age. She's resided in the Atlanta area for over 2 years now. She's obtained her education up to the 11th grade. She is no longer employed. And I don't see any reports of any failure to appear on her record. And considering she does not have employment and no income at the moment, she wouldn't be able to afford a $3,000 surety. So we are requesting a signature bond on all counts on her behalf. Thank you.
Okay, for the battery will be $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For each of the other charges, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Williams, stay away from all Nordstroms, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Gibson. She has a question, Ms. Tucker.
Ms. Gibson, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. We are on the record in front of the prosecution as well as the judge. Do you have a question regarding your bond, or is it about the facts of the case?
About the charges.
Okay,
Okay.
we're not discussing that today. It's just the bond hearing. But I can give you a call separately.
It was
Okay,
that the charges were changed from what I was originally told last night, what the charges were. And I wasn't notified prior to the change.
And you can discuss that at a later time with Ms. Tucker, Ms. Gibson.
Okay,
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
thank you.
You good, ma'am. Position number 4, Ms. Goldsberry.
Good afternoon, Ms. Goldsberry. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003171E with simple assault family violence. I'm told that this is Ms. Goldsberry's first arrest. Yes, Mr. Nixon.
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred on June 4th, 2025. The officer was dispatched to 243 Barron Drive in the city of South Fulton regarding domestic, and upon arrival, the officer made contact with Mr. Edwin Goldsberry, and that's the husband of the defendant, stated that he was in the living room when his wife, Miss Vanessa Goldsberry, asked him whether he had consumed the last juice from the refrigerator. Mr. Edwin responded that he does not drink Kool-Aid jammers and questioned why she would ask him. Ms. Edwin admitted to using curse words during the exchange, but denied escalating the situation. Mr. Edwin stated that the defendant then turned and threw a pair of scissors in its direction and struck the wall. And upon speaking with the defendant, she stated that she was speaking with her son, minor son, initials E as in elephant R, in the kitchen about an empty box of juice when she turned to ask Mr. Edwin whether he had consumed the last juice box. The defendant stated that Mr. Edwin became irate, began cursing at her and continued yelling. And Miss Vanessa, the defendant, advised that she attempted to calm Mr. Edwin down to prevent further belittlement in front of her son. Miss Vanessa admitted to then turning and throwing a pair of scissors she had in her hand toward Mr. Edwin, which did struck the wall. And minor son ER corroborated the sequence of events. Now, officers did speak with the victim, stated that he and the defendant have been married for 4 years and share no children. The victim shared that the altercation was a misunderstanding that escalated and stated he was never assaulted, that he intended to get the defendant to refrain from contacting the police in a way to de-escalate the situation. The victim stated that the defendant was upset that her son left the empty juice box in the fridge and questioned if the victim did it. And the victim noted that he was already frustrated by the defendant not allowing her son to take accountability. The victim stated that he does not fear the defendant and would like to stay in contact with his wife because things are never physical. And the victim stated he would appear via Zoom, and the state would ask that the court sound for the victim when appropriate. Therefore, the state is going to ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with the husband, Edwin Goldsberry, anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. Goldsberry, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, sir. I didn't, Your Honor, I didn't mean to, make her angry when she asked me for the juice, Your Honor. I did make her angry. I guess the way I responded to her, Your Honor, Ms. Goldsberry, she's never been violent, or we've never had an issue like this before. I didn't mean to make her get upset like that, Your Honor. I mean to just simply say no and leave the situation alone, Your Honor. So I take accountability because I didn't mean to make her get that upset like that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here this afternoon. Who's representing Ms. Goldsberry?
I am, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Any objections to any of the state's requests?
No objection at all, Your Honor.
Okay. As such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Goldsberry, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Number 8, Robinson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Robinson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003163G with simple battery. It's my understanding, this is Ms. Robinson's 14th arrest, 2015 probation violation, wanted out of DeKalb County for cruelty to animals. Yes, Mr. Sirocco. Good
Thank you, Judge.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. This incident took place June 4th, 2025 at 1350 Mason Turner Road, Northwest Atlanta. In this altercation, the defendant used both of her hands to push Miss Niasia Smith, Niasia, Niasia, directly in her chest. It was a dual arrest. Both individuals were taken into custody. While this is older, I do see a simple battery conviction from 2002 and a disorderly conduct from 2009. Also on that cruelty to animals, I'm not sure if it was several counts, but if Judge, you might notice that there was also an assault listed. I'm not sure if that's part of the charge here, but part of the singular cruelty to animals, but I would assume they're separate. Given that, the state is asking for $1,000 surety here, no further contact with Niasia Smith. Stay away from 1350 Mason Turner Road, Northwest Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay. Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, despite Odyssey having that 420 Cortland on the Odyssey information, she is quite likable. She's got family here. I've reached her sister and her mother to leave messages. But education, she has. She does hair, and we'd ask the court to give her on considering the nature. She does have a DeKalb hole to go to. Thank you.
Who's Niasia Smith to Ms. Robinson?
Acquaintance or friend or not relative.
Okay, and Ms. Robinson doesn't live at the Mason Turner Road address?
No. Ms. Robinson, where exactly do you live?
Well, if she doesn't live there, I just want to, if I'm gonna give a stay away, but I just wanted to make sure she doesn't live there before I give the stay away. She lives someplace else. Is that right, Mr. McLean?
I believe that's correct, Your Honor, because I did talk to her. I believe this simply happened on a sidewalk, walking down the sidewalk, but I'm not sure. Does that sound correct?
I'm not sure what's at the location personally, or where she's living, but that's the information I have is what I provided.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to release her to the hold. It will be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Mason Turner Road address. No further contact with Ms. Smith. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Robinson. We have next.
Number 10, Sullivan.
Good afternoon, Ms. Sullivan. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003165J with driving while license suspended or revoked and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
All right, third arrest on probation out of DeKalb for battery, hit and run. 2024 suspended registration conviction.
Sirocco?
Yes, Judge, this incident took place June 4th, 2025 at McKinley Avenue in Union City. Law enforcement was assisting with a suspicious persons call, and the officer was instructed to set up a perimeter, look for suspicious vehicles in the area. One officer stopped one of the identified suspicious vehicles at Gresham Street and McKinley Avenue. It was there that the officer made contact with the defendant, who was in the driver's seat, and questioned her about her whereabouts, and her reason for sitting in that area. The officer collected the defendant's license and ran a check, which returned as suspended, with the defendant having been served notices on August 8th, 2024 and August 12th, 2024. The defendant was sitting in the driver's seat with the vehicle's engine on. When the officer instructed the defendant to turn around, put her hands behind her back, she quickly turned around and ran away. The officer chased after her, had to catch up to her, grab her, and ultimately detain her. She was loudly screaming, pulling away from the officer, dropped her weight, fell to the floor, refused to get up. And she refused to place her legs in the seat when she was placed in the patrol vehicle. Got out, refused to get back in, loudly screaming the whole time. She was ultimately arrested, though. As you heard from pretrial, that the driving on suspended, canceled, revoked registration from 2024. Her license has been suspended several times. This being the latest after accumulating the point threshold for a series of driving violations. It was suspended back in 2023 for the same, and suspended most recently for this case back in last August. This is not her first time driving without the proper documentation, proper licensure, or proper documentation, I should say. State is asking for a $1,000 surety on this case, no driving without a valid license and other required documentation, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean, is this your case?
You ready?
Yes, is this your case, Mr. McLean?
Yeah, yes, it is. I'm ready.
Okay.
Shall I go ahead? Okay. Your Honor, she's 27. She lives in Fairburn on a certain address. She's local. She's, like I said, 27. She has a bachelor's, a BS in psychology from VSU, Valdosta State. She had previously been, high school graduate from an academy. She does office work. Your Honor has heard her arrest record. She would ask the court to consider a signature bond. If that's not possible, then she's in agreement with the 1,000 surety, but she is having trouble making this bond that's already been set for her. So she feels she needs a financial break and would like to ask the court for that. Thank you.
For each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Okay, position number 2, Mr. Dox. It don't matter, you can't talk.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dox. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003174Y with 4 counts of loitering and prowling and 3 counts of public drunk. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I don't have it. So, Judge, I don't know about the state, but the pull sheet I has it's a pull sheet, but it has lines drawn through them, as if they wasn't supposed to be on the pull sheet. That's how I took it. So I got, see, 4, 7. I have about 10 names on here with the line drawn through it. So I took it as they weren't supposed to be on the pull sheet.
And Your Honor, just to let the court know, we have been having issues with Odyssey, not when I say we, I mean the entire court system. The jail has been, there was an Odyssey upgrade and it's been causing the calendars. I think Monday's calendar was 120 names that had to then be narrowed down to 32 people. And that has been kind of an ongoing issue that we've been experiencing. So I just wanted to let the court know why pretrial may not be prepared to move forward on some of these cases, because a lot of us are not, we have to narrow down the calendars ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Falk. We'll do the best we can. Mr. Nixon, do you have the
Yes,
history
Your
for me?
Yes, I have 17 cycles. I think the what's relevant here is actually citations for the public drink. I have a August 8th, 2024 public drinking and loitering, August 12th, 2024 public drinking and loitering, November 19th, 2024 loitering, and May 31st, 2025 public drinking and loitering. As well as an Illinois arrest in 1983. This again occurred on May 31st, 2025 at approximately 6:51 p.m. Officer was patrolling the Marathon gas station on 3257 Main Street when officer observed the male loitering and drinking beer in public. Officer knew the male to be the defendant. The officer had issued him multiple loitering warnings at the location. And he took him into custody for loitering and public drinking. The state's recommendation is $250, surety for a total of $1,750. A stay away from the Marathon gas station, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and alcohol drug evaluation treatment. That's all from the state.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dox has been in Georgia for 8 years. He's an assistant in the shop. A friend of his has a shop that sells herbs, and he's been working there for a half a year now. Prior to that, he's worked any temporary job that comes through staff zone agency. So primarily 5 years, his work has been construction. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond on this. Considering the August, the 2 dates in August and November, one here, something like 7 months later, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond if that's at all possible.
Okay, again, he'll be back on my SAP calendar on the 24th. I want him to have a social worker visit to assess for an ADET. It's will be $200 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $1,400 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, social worker visit. And stay away from that Main Street address. Good luck to you, Mr. Dodds.
Number 13, Mr. Wright.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wright. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003168B with theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest. Open armed robbery, suspended license out of the cab. 2024 larceny. Conspiracy to commit offense. Solicit another to commit offense. That was out of U.S. Army.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place May 13th, 2025 at 401 17th Street Northwest. It's an apartment complex in Atlanta. This specific apartment being 2106. Law enforcement responded to a theft call there, and the officer, upon arrival, made contact with the victim in this case, Miss Raya Reyna, Raina, who explained that she had posted a white PlayStation 5 with 2 controllers worth roughly about $450 on Facebook Marketplace. She received a reply on that from the defendant using a Facebook profile, Jakevius White, and an Instagram account with the tag famous with several S's. The defendant arranged to meet at the victim's residence around 12:15 p.m. When he arrived and knocked on the door, the victim handed him the PlayStation 5 and controllers, but he ran without paying. The defendant then got into an older model SUV, golden color, fled south on down the street before turning right onto 17th Street Northwest. The investigation revealed that the defendant had sold the PS5, a white PS5 and PS5 DualSense controllers to GameStop at 1801 Howell Mill Road. Later, actually just about half hour after this, the victim identified the defendant through a photo lineup and a warrant was issued for his arrest. As you heard from pretrial, this is not his first theft case. These other ones are presumably open right now. The armed robbery and actually, I believe that larceny one, I believe that was dealt with, if I'm not mistaken. Pretrial, did you see that was that, I think that was handled internally. Maybe that was what GCIC showed.
I mean, it was in the Army, so they probably dealt with it, I'm sure.
Yeah. But this is not his first. So there is a risk of reoffense here. State is asking for $2,000 surety. No further contact with Raya Reina. Stay away from the apartment complex located at 17th Street Northwest Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Rain is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, Mr. Wright is 24, lives in an apartment an entire county away from that location. He did go into the military after he did about a half year in college and decided to finish that later on after graduating high school. So he went into the Army, drove trucks, was there for 3.5 years. He has worked since then in logistics, moving appliances and doing some video streaming. Your Honor, he's, like I said, he's 24 with a stable local address. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond given the one count nature, the simplicity of this case. He knows how to come to court. Thank you.
Be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Wright. We have next.
HCB.
Good afternoon, Judge. I have position number 9, Shockley.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Francois. Good afternoon, Ms. Shockley. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003164B with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history?
16, 2025 shoplifting, 24 failure to appear, 23 probation. She has holes out of Cobb, Cherokee, and Habersham County.
Mr. Rocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place January 16th, 2025 at the Target located at 3660 Marketplace Boulevard in East Point. Law enforcement was working an off-duty job there when loss prevention staff notified the officer that a shoplifting was in progress. That associate, Zenobia Drakeford, with loss prevention, observed the defendant walking through the store, selecting laundry pods, placing them into a reusable shopping bag, continuing to select several other items and place them into her cart, some into that reusable bag, concealing them. She then went to the self-checkout register, rang up only one item, and placed the rest of the merchandise into Target shopping bags before exiting the store. The defendant was stopped by loss prevention, asked to come to the office. She identified herself and stated she was homeless, and that is admittedly why she was inside the store stealing. A total amount was worth about $218 was the total cost of all of the items she had taken. She was placed under arrest. She is a convicted felon. She has, I know there are several arrests dating back to all the way to 2008 that are theft related, grand theft retail 2008, adjudicated delinquent, robbery, carjacking, and home invasion robbery 2008, adjudicated delinquent, theft by shoplifting, 2 separate cases in 2015. I don't have the dispositions for those, and what looks like an open theft by shoplifting from 2025. I think that one was out of Milton. And a recently, yes, as pretrial stated, the 2024 FTA there. She is also, when we ran her GCIC, it appears wanted out of Clarksville for failure to appear. The date of that warrant being April 22nd, 2025, and out of Canton, wanted for shoplifting. That is from May 19th of this year. As jailing indicates, she has active holds out of Cobb, Cherokee, and Habersham. So given her history of theft cases for theft by shoplifting or otherwise, she poses a risk of reoffense. And with her recent FTAs, one of which is confirmed open, the state is asking for a $2,000 surety, social worker visit for BHET and housing issues. Stay away from Target, located at 3660 Marketplace Boulevard in East Point, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Thank you. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, my client, Ms. Shockley, believed that this had already, she couldn't understand, she believed this had already been on a bond, but, and didn't think she was in violation of her bond at all. So this is January 16th, 2025. So she's a little confused about that. Clarksville is Habersham County, and of course, Canton is Cherokee County. She would ask the court to send her to those holds if possible, but with the FTAs, if it's not, then she would ask for the level surety bond.
Okay, will be $1,000 good bond, stay away from all targets, social worker visit to assist with housing, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. McLean, your client has her hand up.
I can actually call. I can call the 470-650 number that I have. Is that located right there where y'all are doing your Zoom?
I can give you a call, McLean.
Okay, give me a buzz on the desk phone if you would. My number,
Okay.
my 2-5215.
Yes, ma'am. He'll call you and speak with you. We have in courtroom 2.
Number 7, Peters.
Obey. Good afternoon, Mr. Peters. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003153C with 3 counts of loitering and prowling and 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. So your history, Mr. Howard?
10th arrest. You got an open PI out of state court, open battery out of state court. 2025 trespass conviction, 2023 probation, 22 failure to appear, and 2 shoplifting convictions from 2020 and a trespass conviction 2020.
Mr. Rocco?
You Judge, this took place June 3rd, 2025. Law enforcement responded to Springside Park at 750 Dalrymple Road, Sandy Springs, in reference to a report of a suspicious person. Upon arrival, officers spoke with multiple victims who explained that a black male wearing a black jacket, orange shirt, having a book bag on, was going around pulling on door handles trying to enter residences. The victims were able to show officers video evidence of the defendant pulling on doors, trying to enter, but he was unable to make entry to most places due to the doors being locked. He tried to gain entry into the residences of Garrett Norris, who is Unit L5, Taylor Morgan, Unit D2, Nancy Martinez Flores, Unit D1. Miss Flores explained the defendant actually opened her door. He managed to open it and tried to make entry, but was deterred by her dogs after her juvenile daughters alerted her to the intrusion attempt. Officers located the defendant at the Chevron gas station and positively identified him using ring camera footage provided by the victims. When the officers attempted to arrest the defendant, he started to pull his arm away, wouldn't allow officers to place handcuffs on him, and he would tense up his arm. He had to be taken to the ground in order to detain him. He was not cooperative in providing his name, date of birth, and he had to be identified by name through the use of a fingerprint scanner. We have spoken with Miss Nancy Martinez, one of the victims here. She explained she's never seen the defendant before, but didn't know quite what was wrong with him. She believes there's something, drugs, MH, something. And she stated that he attempted to come inside by opening her door and she feels uneasy since that attempt, unsafe in her home. She advised that, excuse me. No, that is it for our correspondence with Miss Martinez. We reached out as well to Taylor Morgan and Garrett Norris. We haven't heard back from them, but we will continue those efforts at contact. We would ask the court sound for them when appropriate. As stated, pre-trial, I mentioned that he's open cases for battery and public indecency. I see that I have the battery case number 23CR001773C. He also has a history of theft convictions, the recent theft by shopliftings, two of which they were in 2023, and criminal trespass as well. These facts are troubling, especially given the circumstances with these places the defendant was trying to enter being residences. And in one of these residences, children were home when the defendant was trying to get in. They were the ones that saw him first, and thankfully the dogs were there to deter him from coming in, because if he came in, who knows what could have happened. Things could have been far worse. With his previous criminal trespass convictions and with his open cases, it presents a risk of reoffense here and a risk to the community. As such, state's asking for a $4,000 total surety, but $2,000 surety on count 2. That's the one where he actually managed to open that door and scare the children and Miss Morgan inside, and $500 sureties for the remaining for, I believe I mentioned, total $4,000 surety. No further contact with Garrett Norris, Taylor Morgan, Nancy Martinez Flores, or her children. Excuse me, that was the one. And stay away from 750 Dalrymple Road, Sandy Springs, that entire complex. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while on bond.
Any of the alleged victims are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Not appear so. Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Okay, you can proceed.
Yes, my client is 31 years old, Your Honor. He is diagnosed with some MH issues. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. He's unable to work and tells me he has been unemployed since 2013. And I believe he does receive SSI, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to set a bond that is appropriate given his circumstances. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, for each charge will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. I'd like him to have a social worker visit to assess for BHET or an MHET. No further contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Peters.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Number 6, McMullen.
Good afternoon, Ms. McMillian. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003173H with 2 counts of battery family violence and simple battery family violence. To a history, Mr. Howard.
It's a third 2023 act assault. Simple battery dismissed.
Mr. Nixon.
Yes, Your Honor. Dispute that occurred between Mr. Zane O'Neill and the defendant, a couple who formerly lived together at 161 Peachtree Center Avenue Northeast, apartment 1623 on May 24th, 2025. This is about 3:10 a.m. in the morning. Ms. McMillian arrived at 161 Peachtree Center Avenue Northeast, the building of the resident of the victim, Mr. O'Neill. The former couple then had a conversation inside of Ms. McMillian's BMW along the south side of the building. They got into a verbal dispute, and the dispute became physical as the defendant scratched Mr. O'Neill. The injuries were documented by the officers, and a laceration could be seen on Mr. O'Neill's left shoulder and scratches on the left side of his neck. During the dispute, the defendant exits the vehicle through the south area of the alleyway and turns east on Ellis Street Northeast before turning south on Cortland Street Northeast. And during this time, Mr. O'Neill attempts to exit the vehicle and opens the passenger door, but the defendant refuses to stop. The defendant then turns the vehicle west on John Wesley Dobbs Avenue Northeast before stopping the vehicle in the lanes of traffic. Mr. O'Neill exits the vehicle and begins walking back the route they had traveled. A few moments later, a defendant exits her vehicle and begins to follow him. While following Mr. O'Neill, the defendant falls on Cortland Street Northeast and injures herself. I think her hand or her knee. She admitted to falling while chasing Mr. O'Neill, causing her own injuries. The defendant presented actual papers to the officer. The paper was a bond order dated April 25th, 2024. On the bond order, there was to be no contact between Mr. O'Neill and Ms. McMillian. And the defendant had a previous arrest for, I believe it was ag assault. Ag assault against the same victim, Mr. O'Neill. The case was, however, dismissed. Now, our office has spoken with the victim. The victim stated that he and the defendant have been separated for the past 6 months and have been unable to cut ties completely due to the defendant's behavior. The victim stated that he has never been aggressive or physical with the defendant, and that she's very manipulative. The victim shared that the victim stated that the defendant has acted erratically and violently countless times while under the influence. O'Neill expressed that due to feeling unsafe in his residence, he's planning to move from Georgia. The victim plans to assist his mother in California who is sick. The victim stated that since separating from the defendant, he has received random calls from her peers and family in intimidating manners and is unsure what stories she may be fabricating to paint him in a bad light. The victim has filed a TPO against the defendant, but it's hoping the case teaches the defendant some accountability. As such, Your Honor, the state is requesting $1,500 surety for each battery and $1,000 surety for the simple battery. That's a total of $5,000 surety. No further contact with the victim, Zane O'Neill, and when appropriate, the state would ask that the court sound for the victim. A stay away from 161 Peachtree Center Avenue Northeast, anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. O'Neill is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. It doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I'm actually on the case. I was recently retained.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Mathis.
I
Good
believe my
afternoon.
entry was processed through the clerk, but I am representing Ms. McMillan. She has been a resident of Georgia for decades now. She is currently a business owner and a single mother. We believe that as this case progresses, we will show that, in fact, the alleged victim in this particular case was the aggressor. In fact, the bond paperwork that he showed the police was bond paperwork for himself because he is currently on probation from a former incident between the two. Miss McMillan does not have a criminal history. She was arrested for aggravated assault, which was found to not have any merit, and which is why it was dismissed. Your Honor, my client, again, is a single mother of a 16-year-old daughter. She cannot afford to pay any bond at this point. She does have a very limited criminal history, no failures to appear. She will ensure that she's in court and defend her rights. And so we'll be asking for a signature bond, Your Honor, so that she can be released.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I had my mute button on at the time. I'm the victim.
Okay, Mr. O'Neill, I'm happy to hear from you, but I'm gonna need for you to come on video for me.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes, sir. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Nothing but the truth.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I really am concerned with the alcohol. The alcohol is like the biggest thing in the world. Like, she's a totally different person on alcohol. And I just think that just for my safety as well as her own safety, she should be evaluated for that. And it's like, you know, I even said that in the last case and every situation with her. And not one time did they ever take that into consideration.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, so we appreciate it. All right, for each of the batteries will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For each of the simple batteries will be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Mr. O'Neill. Stay away from the incident location and Mr. Neal's residence. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business for today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mathis.
You too.
Who do we have next?
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
Going back to position number 9, Ms. Shockley, apparently there's some type of confusion that she, McClain, I guess McClain can speak on her behalf, but apparently she said she already bonded out for this same charge at East Point. The mother bonded her out, so she's talking to Mr. McClain now. And this is what the mother is stating, that she bonded her out for this same charge at East Point.
Okay. Mr. McClain?
Your Honor, I've got East Point Jail on the phone to see if they can get some documents.
Okay, so what do you know what the so she will, if she was bonded out, then that's fine with the court, but you just have to let me know. This bond will stand unless something else is presented.
Sure.
Okay, and you can either, once you find out, Mr. McClain, you can either get in touch with Mr. Sirocco and you all can work it out, or you can bring it back before me. If she doesn't get out, bring it back to SEA tomorrow.
Very good.
Okay, does that work?
Thank you. That works.
All right. So we're gonna see if there's a problem, Ms. Shockley, and if there is, then we'll honor the bond that you already have. Okay. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, position number 12, Mr. Williamson, we was waiting for our Alpharetta people to escort him over. And we're searching for Mr. Blocker, the add-on number 1.
Okay. What about position number 1, Brian Anderson?
He posted bond.
Okay.
McClain,
Position.
tell you about the other young lady that's a medical researcher.
Okay, position 11, Harara.
Your Honor, we went to the medical section, the female medical section, to speak to her, but she was not communicative today, so the jail figured that medical reset would be appropriate for today, and if it doesn't clear up by tomorrow, then we're going to have to do something different.
Okay, so that case, position 11 is reset until tomorrow, 6/6. We'll hold on the other two. And maybe someone can help me with yesterday's calendar. I got a note from Judge Law, something regarding Brady Love.
Yeah. Basically what that was he already had a $2,500 bond, if I'm correct. And Judge Law, I argued for a lower bond because of his medical condition. We didn't know much of anything about the allegations. So I was saying, he's got a bad heart. And the state and I were going to look at it for today to see if it was anything unusual.
Okay, and
what do y'all think?
That case was assigned a DA number
Okay.
under 25 DA 05759. So for whatever reason, the DA's office picked that case up. And that's where it stands. He has had a first appearance. Judge Law addressed it, addressed the bond. So there's nothing further to address.
Okay,
I agree.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. She sent me a note saying that it was reset from yesterday. So it's been handled. Thank you.
Very good.
Is there something else, Francois?
Yes, Judge Morrow, did you want me to bring her to court back on tomorrow? Because she's already bonded out on this charge.
Oh, Mr. McLean needs to verify that. If he verifies it, then he'll speak with Mr. Sirocco regarding that, and we'll honor that bond if that's the case. If not, then I've given her a bond for today. So I'm going to give Mr. McLean the opportunity to look into it, and if she has already bonded out on a bond, I'm willing to honor that.
Okay.
He's gonna have to look into it. So he'll look into it, ma'am, and he'll get back with you. She still wants to say something, Mr. McLean, apparently.
I explained to her we can't do these things instantaneously. Somebody's got a document. It'll either be the bonding company, the East Point Jail, or her mother. Somebody's got a document somewhere that evidences that bond, and we just need to get it. And
apparently she still wants to say something because she still has her hand up. So go ahead and call her. We've got a minute here, Mr. McLean. Go ahead and call her again. I want to make sure that she's clear, that she can articulate everything to.
I'll do that.
Judge, she wants to say something to you instead.
Okay, ma'am, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I'm happy to hear from you. That's up to you and Mr. McLean. Quite often people think that they're going to tell me something that's going to help their case, and it ends up hurting their case. But it's up to you. If you want to speak with me, you can go ahead and do it.
That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I go now? The only thing that I was trying to say was the reason that it probably was a discrepancy is because I bonded out before Fulton County came and got me. My case still has not been bound over to Fulton County. I just reported with my bail bond on Thursday because I still don't have a court date in the system because when I talked to East Point, they said the packet had to be delivered to Fulton County and it would take 4 to 6 months to be bonded over. So that's why I was asking Mr. McLean, maybe at 10 o'clock when he called me, I was trying to kind of let him know a little gist of the situation that this wasn't a new charge. I was already bounded. So in that time of space, he could have kind of maybe called East Point or called the bonding company to get the proper documents to be able to show you right now, because I kind of knew that I had already been bonded out for that. I was just waiting on, I guess, Fulton County to pick it up because it had been transferred from East Point to Fulton County. That's it.
I believe you're describing is encompassed in what we're trying to research.
Okay, so again, we're gonna look into it, ma'am. All
Thank you.
right, you're welcome. Okay, so let's see. While we're in recess, Ms. Bridgewater, do you want to just go over the calendar so that I think we have 2 more to go?
Yes, sir, I will. Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is now June the 24th, as opposed to the 19th of June. Position number 1 is reset further notice. The defendant was released. Position 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,400 good bond. Position 3 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 6, reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 8, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 9, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 10, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 11 is being reset till tomorrow. We're holding on position 12. Position 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond, and we're holding on the add-on case. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise on those?
Yeah,
What was
number
that?
3.
13?
Okay, number 3 is a total of a $4,000 SOB through pretrial. It's being reset further notice.
I need the contact and level.
No further contact with Yasmin Williams, level 2.
And number 4, same thing.
Reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, level 1. No further violent contact with Edwin Goldsberry.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's about 13.
Position 13. Position 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any others? Okay.
Is it the Alpharetta jail that we're waiting on?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Grace, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind calling them and see,
I'm
yes.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but they haven't arrived from Alpharetta jail yet. We just.
Oh, okay, they're transporting from the Alpharetta
Yeah, they
jail.
should be transporting them, but we don't know where they are.
Okay, all right, so we'll be in recess until we find out about position 12 and the add-on.
Your Honor, I'm gonna send you this paperwork in the meantime.
Okay, I'll get it signed and back to you, Ms. Bridgewater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judge Morrow,
Yes.
going back to, oh, there you go, Judge. Going back to position number 9, Ms.
Okay.
Shockley.
Okay, we have made some progress. We got hold of the East Point Jail. They gave me a case number. They said it wasn't simply bonds, it was actually free at last. So we called free at last, and they're going to, by scanning the attachment, the document, they're going to send me an email with the regular bond that made for this matter. And I left Mr. Scirocco a message just now that I'll share that. I will forward that email with its attachment as soon as I get it.
Okay. And do you know how much the bond was?
No, Your Honor, I don't. It's they just said it was just a regular bond for shoplifting. It was made. I've got the case number, but I've got the East Point City case number, but I don't have the document yet.
Mr. McLean, did you email that to me?
I'm going to, but I haven't received it yet. I'm staring at my inbox, waiting for that.
Okay, received. Thank you.
Sure.
And Judge, she said, Ms. Shockley said it was the amount of 2,000.
Okay. All right. So once you get that paperwork, Mr. McLean, get it to Mr. Scirocco, and we'll honor that bond.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Francois.
Thank you, Judge. Do we still need to wait, or are we good?
Well, Mr. McLean will be in touch with, as soon as he gets the paperwork to Mr. Scirocco and there's no dispute, then Mr. McLean, I guess, will get in touch with the jail and that bond will be honored.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. So we're
Okay.
done. We good?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Courtroom 2, is there an update?
No, there's no update. We still-
Okay, so you can't find position number 12, Mr. Williamson?
He was at the Alpharetta jail. He's one of the ones being transported here.
Okay, so Blocker, the add-on, and Williamson were both at the Alpharetta jail.
That's correct.
Okay,
Right.
all right, so Mr. McLean, has anyone spoken with these two defendants?
I don't know about Blocker. I've talked to Williamson.
Okay, we've been waiting.
I
for
attempted to speak with Mr. Blocker, but they were not able to locate him when I called, so I've not been able to talk to him.
All right. Is there an issue with Riverside with either one of these individuals? I'm just asking. We've been waiting for 30 minutes now. We don't have an estimate on when they're going to be here. So
There shouldn't be, Judge. At least for Williamson, that incident day was yesterday.
Let me check Mr. Blocker's case, Your Honor, and see where we are. It appears Mr. Blocker was arrested on June 4th of 2025 at 3:08 p.m. So the case would not, the Riverside would not take into effect until June 7th at 3:08 p.m.
okay.
Williamson, about 8 hours after that, 11:37 p.m. on June 4th.
The state has no objection if Your Honor wants to reset to tomorrow and have these individuals brought earlier from Alpharetta to the jail.
I could waive Mr. Williamson's presence. I think the state's going to recommend probably
Not without talking to him.
Not
you can't
right.
waive
Not with
it,
the state would not agree to waive the presence of a defendant who's not signed a waiver.
No, he hasn't done that.
Okay, so if the consensus is to stay, we'll stay. If you all don't mind putting them on tomorrow's SEA calendar, given that there's no issue with Riverside, that's fine as well. So I take it that the state has no objection. Mr. McLean or Ms. Tucker, do you have an objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
I don't. My guy just needs to go to Jasper County.
Okay. All right, as such, we've already gone through the calendar. We'll reset those two individuals until tomorrow's 2 o'clock calendar. If nothing further, I believe that completes the calendar for today then. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, y'all have a good rest of your afternoon.
You too, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You too.